This is the K-Walker.
You say young man, very generous Andy. So I'm a KLF fan, but I knew nothing about the KLF Re-enactment Society, what they were doing. But I saw some of their posts. It did happen to be on, I think, August 23rd of, genuinely true. Me and my wife and our mate were going on holiday to Yorkshire, and we were driving up the M1, and I just sat in the car, and I was like, the KLF take a cruise up here a long time, never did they? I was like, yeah, I'll Google it. When we get to Yorkshire, I'll Google it. And when I Googled the KLF, when I got to our place we were staying, it said, the KLF are back. They put their master tapes to the British Library and their films to the BFI, and there's a tour in 300 years' time. I went, well, that's a bit of a coincidence. And my friends went, yeah, you read too much into what the KLF do. But yeah, I started reading on the KLF RS website. People up at the Liverpool end of this purported ley line finding graffiti and tags at various significant sites as this ley line passes through Liverpool. And I thought, oh, that's fun. I live near London. I could pop up to London at the weekend. I've never been to Stockwell where the Trans Central squat that Jimmy Courtier owns, which is their studio. I've never been there, so I thought I'll go up and visit it. I'll have a little wander along to Battersea Power Station. I knew that was in some of the imagery, and that was somewhere that the KLF had been arrested at one time when they graffitied a billboard there for the Melody Maker and got arrested for their troubles. So I thought, I'm going to have a wander around there, see what I see. So I did that, went up, got off the tube, went to Stockwell. Didn't see any KLF graffiti, but I saw plenty of someone had gone around spray painting acid house smileys around the area. So I thought, oh, that's good, that's interesting. It was a nice day. I walked in a straight line through Battersea Power Station to the Thames, stood there on the south bank of the Thames by Chelsea Bridge, and thought, okay, there may or may not be a ley line stretching 180 miles to Liverpool from this point, but I might have a look. And then forgot about it for a few weeks. Christmas out of the way, got to the new year, thought, right, I'm free now. So I went back up to London, back to Chelsea Bridge, and started walking northwest. You know, the idea of a northwest passage. There was the idea back in the 19th century when the explorers like John Franklin were trying to find their way around the top of North America, and all they found obviously was ice and frozen lakes, and they died and possibly resorted to cannibalism. It was a horrible thing, all these expeditions to find the Northwest Passage, but it's a nice myth. The idea of heading in a northwest direction resonates with quite a lot of things, and so just walking from London to Liverpool is essentially finding the Northwest Passage out of London, and you could then follow it through North America, of course. So yes, that's what I did. I spent the first day I'd drawn it on a map, had my Phillips map of London, got a ruler, got a pencil, drew a line diagonally across it, and then followed it all around the side streets of Maida Vale and Willesden and Leasden until I got to the edge of London. I was like, right, time to go home. Told my friends what I was doing, and fortunately for me, friends of mine who weren't necessarily KLF fans, but people who just like going on walks, or people I was at school or university with, were on board with the idea of joining me on this 180-mile expedition. This all happened last year in the spring and the summer. It took 17 weekends to do it. I wasn't sure if it was going to take all year. I was doing it one bit at a time. I'd buy that relevant ordnance survey map, get the pencil, draw the line, and head that way to reach the end of the map, find the nearest train station, go home, buy the next map, do it again, do it in stages. I would say that that's a really interesting project to do. If you've ever considered, say, walking the Pennine Way or the Ridgeway or the South Downs Way, these are walks that are laid out for you. If you draw a straight line on a map, it forces you to go off the main routes, it forces you to go through towns or villages you would never think of visiting in your life. You end up finding as we did, you'll find forgotten pubs, abandoned churches, far out of the way war memorials, like World War I training grounds buried in the forest. You find all sorts of things, abandoned colliers, all these sort of things you wouldn't find if you went on a regular walk. And so we did this over a period of about 6 months, and by the end of it, which is sort of, I did a whole weekend getting from Cheshire, got as far as the Mersey shore. You can't walk across the Mersey, of course, you have to go upriver to Runcorn and back. And we did this over a weekend. There was about a dozen of us by then, people I'd never met, people who joined in on the way. We started picking up musicians and other KLF fans who I'd never been in touch with. We started picking them up in places like Coventry. They'd join us for the day. They'd come back a few weeks later and do some more. And yeah, in the end, on the final day, which we managed to time for Midsummer's Day in June in Liverpool, there was a whole bunch of us, did a whole long walk through Liverpool, through all the sites. We sort of meandered a bit. We thought, well, we'll visit where Ringo was born. We'll visit, anywhere we could like tie in with Charlton Park, anywhere that ties in with sort of Liverpool music history is where we managed to tie in. And we got to the end of the line, which is a manhole cover outside the corner of Matthew Street in Liverpool, which is where the cabin was. If you don't know the mythology of the KLF and Bill Drummond, it's quite complicated to go into. Now, he believed there was a ley line passing through this manhole cover that comes in from outer space, through Iceland, passes through Liverpool, goes through the earth, comes out of Papua New Guinea. You don't need to know that. What you do to know is that Cabin Street is obviously the epicentre of Liverpool musical history, and that's a relevant place to visit. Whatever if you're interested in music, you've got to visit Liverpool really at some point. So that was where we ended up. We had a live stream. We managed to get in touch with some people in Papua New Guinea. We were live streaming them while we reached the manhole cover at the bottom of Matthew Street. There's a statue of Brian Epstein nearby, if you know Liverpool. We had a bit bad Wi-Fi reception on the manhole cover, so we went down to the statue of Brian Epstein. This was a Sunday afternoon, I think. It was a very bright day, June day, and we set up this live stream. We all got some traffic cones and all stood around Brian Epstein, so we thought he's the nearest thing we can pay tribute, homage to, for our love of the Beatles. And passers-by and shoppers would come up and they'd go, "What on earth are you doing?" We're like, "Oh, well, we've got this band from Papua New Guinea and they want to audition for Brian Epstein. So this is the best way we could think of to do it for them. We're just trying to make them happy." I don't think we told them that he was dead or anything. So that was our afternoon, really. What have we got? Is that it? But you can read all about it. I wrote it up very briefly. I wrote it up in blogs for the website, and it's all in the book. I didn't know it was going to be a book at the time, but it ended up being the central section of the mystical book that was mentioned earlier. And that's what I did last summer.
So, text in any glove box, to be designed for glove boxes, which is important.